Mike Sempervive here with you for the next hour talking about professional wrestling, which is something we do every single day here on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. Tune in iHeart, American Forces Radio, sportsbyline.com, all of our over-the-air affiliates. Maybe you're listening via podcast or replay on SiriusXM, or maybe you're video streaming on Twitch or YouTube. However you're joining me today, just like to say thank you. Hopefully, wherever you are, it's sunny outside. If not, hopefully it's sunny inside your mind. It went from 80 and sunny yesterday to 55 and cloudy here on my portion of Delmarva, but that's okay, because that's going to happen. It's springtime. Happy Cinco de Mayo weekend. Be careful out there. It's amateur night for a lot of you folks the entire weekend, so everybody be aware of your surroundings. We've already started partying on this show today. It's Friday. You know what that means. Brian's not here, but Filthy Tom Lawlor is. And we're going to have a lot to get into, including some not-so-fun stuff to start the show. Fightful is reporting that NXT cuts have begun. I believe I can speak with confidence in saying that we here at Wrestling Observer can also confirm that they started last night. I'll double-check and see if there are any names that have come out in the last half hour or so since the last time I checked. But we'll get into that, as well as some news about the Janelle Grant lawsuit, including corporate officer number 2 departing the company, and one of the parties in the lawsuit, John Laurinaitis, being John Laurinaitis and switching sides and hoping alongside Vince McMahon that this Janelle Grant case doesn't go any further than arbitration. He had a statement that he put out yesterday. When we get back from break, we'll talk about that. And then we'll actually get into, the wrestling portion of the proceedings. Big weekend for WWE. They are in France this weekend. Backlash, Saturday. It's like a glorified house show, but it's a good one on paper. Plus New Japan, AEW, and a whole lot more. We'll start it all off in just a few minutes. Wrestling Observer Live.
You guys, the front row are being pretty quiet over there. Oh, come on. Armbar!
Welcome back to the show. Mike Sempervive and Filthy Tom Lawlor here with you. We do this show right here for an hour at a time every single day, but if you want to try to find us 24/7, you can do so on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I am at Sempervive. Tom is at Filthy Tom Lawlor. The website is at WOONF4W, and the broadcaster is at Sports Byline USA. Jim Valley is at Jim Valley. He will be with you tomorrow. Not a live show, tape show, but a brand new show that's going to be coming at you at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And then Andrew Zarian will be doing the same on Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find him at Andrew Zarian. You can find the Wrestling News at Wrestling News AV on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like for you to make it part of your day. Between 5 and 15 minutes long, all the news you need to know from around the world of professional wrestling in digest form. It will be coming in very handy this upcoming week if you are a fan of Japanese professional wrestling. It is Golden Week in Japan. What that basically means is there's a lot of pro wrestling shows that are going to be taking place, several a day, several in the same building, Corrigan Hall. About 75 shows a day take place there. But all of the news you're going to need to know, we'll have it covered for you in the wrestling news. I'd also like for you to go to the front page of the website, go to f4wonline.com/Vegas, because the F4W Online Wrestling Observer Convention is taking place Memorial Day weekend. It is coming up very quickly. Tickets are going fast. Tickets sell out for different events, so make sure that you get included in all of the action and madness that will take place in Las Vegas, including the Bryan and Vinny show that will not be it would have to be leaked out there. And I'm not sure if they're going to take your phones like you're going to a comedy show. You're going to see Bryan and Vinny. Can you take your phone in? Because there's going to be no audio, there's going to be no video, and who knows how it goes in there. Maybe nobody will be able to speak about it afterwards because it's going to be so horrifying. But how would you know unless you bought tickets to that show? Find all that information out up on the front page of the site. Filthy, you're giving me that look there as if I've gone crazy. Why are you doing this? It's Friday. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. Get hyped, my friend.
Well, I was just thinking, Mike, that I may be there. I may be the hookup. I may just hide in the back of this room in Las Vegas at the convention center, and I'm gonna be like Brody and Jerry Seinfeld, filming "Cry, Cry Again" back in the day and releasing it to the public. Death Blow.
You gonna be Brody?
Starring Bryan and Vinny,
or are you gonna be Crody, like some people up in Toronto? That's been, look, I got to be honest. I know that this weekend.
This is where we're going right off the bat.
We're going right off the bat because that's one of the reasons I'm so hyped up today.
Got beef.
The
biggest feud on the planet. Not Cody Rhodes versus AJ. Not Drew McIntyre and CM Punk.
No.
Not Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. No. It's the top dog himself, Kendrick Lamar, burying the leader of the six feet deep over and over again.
Over and over. OVO. Oh, my God. Shot that owl right out of the sky, did they? Oh, my. You know, rap music, hip-hop music, it's the only form of music. I mean, I guess, there's some sort of battle in other types of music, dueling banjos and such, but you have hip-hop that was birthed in the streets, birthed with fighting back and forth with each other, verbed with complete verbal combat, going back and forth, who can top who, ego involved. And I mean, on a weekend when the biggest fight, Canelo Alvarez is fighting, right? This is, should be the biggest fight. It's not, because the best fights right now are taking place, and it's Drake and it's Kendrick Lamar. If Drake actually gets himself out of his pajama clothes and actually gets some writers around him to give a response to these two songs that Kendrick has put out.
I don't think he's going to bring anything forth that's going to change the tides here. I don't think he's got a big comeback before the finish. I think this is going to be Kendrick all the way. You talked about ego a little bit, Mike. I'd be remiss if you mentioned ego and we didn't mention that, something that would probably get glossed over, I bet, by the end of the program. But all ego Ethan Page, no longer a member of the AEW or ROH roster.
Yep, Fightful has reported that Ethan Page has left AEW. The story noting that Page had expressed a desire to leave as early as this past February. Page had joined AEW in 2021 after departing TNA. A story on the front page of our site notes that in addition to his in-ring career, Page is the promoter of the Hamilton, Ontario-based Alpha One promotion, which ran shows for the first time since the COVID pandemic in February and March of this year, and has another event set for May 19th. Page had announced last year that he moved to the United States. He had thanked AEW for helping him get his green card at that time to establish permanent resident status in the United States, Tom. And, he was a talented guy, and you saw little flashes of them being able to use him in a positive manner. But he's one of those guys that now that he's out of there, You know, if he goes to WWE, it's a hard fight to try to make it on his way up, and he'd probably go to NXT first. I don't know if he'd want to do that. You know, when he has options out there, I think he'd be great to be on a lot of independent shows, and certainly would be very welcome back in TNA.
I feel as if he is actually the perfect kind of signing for NXT at this point. If you remember, one of the big selling points of NXT repeatedly would be that there would be an indie star hanging out in the crowd. We've got a new face coming in. And if you've noticed, ever since the sale of the company, that was kind of pushed by the wayside. But now we've had Julia make her way back. We saw the former Ty Dillinger come back. And, you know, I think Cody Rhodes probably had a part in Ethan Page getting a position in AEW in the first place, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a big name signing for NXT in the future. They're going to need more guys.
And look, he can do both. The TNA's got tapings coming up after the Undersea show that we'll get into a little bit later on in the show, but they have a big 16-person current champions against legends of TNA sort of thing that they're doing, and they haven't announced anybody for that yet. So if it's possible that he's got the chance to do that, he could stop there, do some shows on his way up to maybe going to NXT. The value to me that he brings there is his obvious experience that he has and being able to relate to younger wrestlers. You know, on NXT this past week, they showed Robbie Brookside. They showed a couple of the other trainers that have been there for a while. With a guy like Ethan Page, he's been in the mix with people that are coming up right now. That's kind of a nice person to have. Plus, having that promotion that he does, a lot of these folks in NXT, one of the reasons they're doing all of these cuts is because they have so many people from Division I coming in, so many NIL people, so many young people that they're bringing up, that those people need to get experience. And we see some of them go work for Booker T down in Houston. We've seen some go to some other places. But having an ally like that, you know, especially one that can be backed up by Cody Rhodes, you know, Ethan Page, again, I don't know how he is as a trainer or anything like that, but to my knowledge, certainly he's got a really good reputation in the wrestling business.
Well, yeah, and Ethan Page is one of these guys who's kind of self-made in a lot of ways. He would have his own merchandise. He would have his own promos, his own YouTube videos going on outside of wrestling regardless. So if you remember, he was all over the place before he went to AEW when he was with TNA, and then that kind of went by the wayside a little bit, probably because of the amount of travel and just the duties that he has as a full-time roster member. So maybe we'll see a return to form of that. And as you mentioned, you know, he's kind of the perfect guy to have in NXT, I would think, to deal with the younger wrestlers. He has experience working against all types of talent, from superstars to younger wrestlers. He has a good reputation. He did boot me in the face really hard one time and hurt my orbital, but hey, that's my own fault for not blocking the Muay Thai boot of Ethan Page properly. But he's a phenomenal talent. I'm sure he's going to land on his feet wherever it is, and I just think it'll be in NXT eventually.
Deceptively big, too. I mean, he's like 6'2". It's not like he's a small guy, you know, which, again, you know, in the land of giants that can be WWE sometimes, that can be a little bit of a trouble spot, but he's also at that size, and he's been on the indies for so long that he could work with an Obafemi and also work with somebody like Axiom if need be. Got a lot more to get into, including Backlash from France. When we get back from break, Wrestling Observer Live.
No senton bomb. Don't do it. No, don't do it, man.
Back to the show, Mike Sempervive and Filthy Tom Lawlor here with you. Filthy Observer Live. No boss man Bryan Alvarez. He'll be back with you this weekend. If you're a subscriber to WrestlingObserver.com, he and Dave Meltzer, I don't know if they're going Saturday night or if they'll wait till Sunday. I have no idea, but they will definitely be doing a show this weekend, as well as Brian and Vinny and plenty of other stuff that's going to be up on the website. So WrestlingObserver.com, that's the place that you need to go. Unfortunately, I'm going to bring the mood down here a little bit just because we do have some WWE news to get into. Dave Meltzer has broken a story in today's, in fact, Wrestling Observer newsletter. One of the most powerful executives in the company, that is WWE, is departing. It is Brad Bloom, who has tendered his resignation on May 1st. Bloom was WWE's chief operating officer since 2006. He has worked for WWE in a variety of leadership roles. Bloom is listed as corporate officer number 2 in Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon, WWE, and John Laurinaitis. The company or the lawsuit claims that Bloom helped facilitate Grant's employment in WWE. WWE issued a statement in March saying that neither Nick Khan nor Brad Bloom, prior to the lawsuit being filed on January 25th, 2024, were aware of any allegation by Ms. Grant that she was the victim of abuse or unwanted physical contact, nor does the complaint allege that either had knowledge of such. Meltzer writes that Bloom made the decision to resign from WWE and no one forced him out of the company. There is a part 2 to that story. That is, former head of WWE Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis, is now taking the side of Vince McMahon in the lawsuit and calling for the case to be decided in arbitration. Laurinaitis, who had previously described himself as a victim of McMahon and declared his intent to oppose McMahon, yesterday issued a statement through his lawyer stating, quote, Mr. Laurinaitis stands in solidarity with Mr. McMahon, vehemently refuting the allegations of sexual abuse and coercion outlined in Ms. Grant's lawsuit. We are prepared to combat these baseless claims alongside Mr. McMahon within the confines of arbitration. So, obviously, if you're John Laurinaitis, much like Vince McMahon, you want this thing to go to arbitration. You don't want it to go to court because, well, you don't want any more discovery to happen. But with that said, as I see Filthy just chomping at the bit to jump on here, boy, what a legacy John Laurinaitis leaves in professional wrestling. What a legacy. With the exception of taking back finishes from Japan, Tom, like, what else has John Laurinaitis done positive? He signed the wrong one-legged guy. He used to sign models out of swimsuit catalogs. He didn't do payroll, and they gave that back to Jim Ross because he didn't pay people on time and didn't really care about it. Boy, what a wonderful leg. And dynamic dudes. I mean, just right there, the dynamic dudes. That could have been enough, but he just kept going.
I remember earlier this week listening to Brian and Dave talk about Vince McMahon's rebuttal to Janelle Grant in this lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And then they said, it's possible. It's possible that John Laurinaitis comes out and does a turn, but he's already gone against Vince McMahon, and they didn't expect it. And I would like to say that I would not be surprised by this, but a part of me really, really is surprised by the fact that this man has now done, I don't want to call it a heel turn because he was already a heel in this situation, but I mean, to go back on the side of Vince after putting out a statement saying that, or his legal team put out a statement saying that he was coerced into this, he was a victim. This is unbelievable. What a worker this guy is.
Yeah. You're essentially trying to work life, and that's what he's trying to do.
He's succeeded for a while, apparently, at this point.
He has failed upwards to me amazingly, right, in a lot of ways, and it just, whether it comes crumbling down or not, we'll see. What a reputation. And nobody even thinks about the fact that this guy's brother is Joe Laurinaitis, Road Warrior Animal, who's got the highest of reputations. Animal's son was a great football player at Ohio State, been a great coach apparently as well too. It's like they are so separate now, and he's married. If I'm not mistaken, is he still married to the Bella's mom?
I believe he's still married to Miss Garcia. Or
it just blows me away because Nikki Bella, to begin the year for the RAIN Foundation, which I've always been a supporter of and a donator of, the Tori Amos Foundation, Rape and Incest National Network, like, she gave a testimonial earlier on this year, and it's got to be like before all this stuff came out. And it's horrible. And when you think of the human cost of this, as many jokes as can be made and as we could make about some of the aspects of it, when you pull it back, it's still so slimy. It's just still such a... and then you talk about what kind of turn, what's under a heel? Slime. The crap at the bottom of your shoe, and that's the turn that John Laurinaitis has taken again. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, choose a side in a situation like this without all of the information.
I'll choose a side. I
there.
won't judge it, but I know what side I don't want to be a part of.
Well, yeah, obviously. But hey, whatever. I'm sure the truth maybe it won't come out. Maybe it'll just be hidden behind court documents for forever.
And NDAs. And NDAs. But WWE SmackDown is tonight on Fox. Tom, now you need to help me out here because you're a much more learned individual than I am. The LDLC Center in Dessin-Charpeau, a village in the city of Lyon.
That sounded pretty good.
Ooh.
Lyon. Dessin-Charpeau.
Dessin-Charpeau in Francis.
Oui, oui.
That's okay, good. As long as we now showed our cultured side, I'll tell you that they've added a match. Bayley, Naomi, and Bianca Belair will face, and Jade Cargill will face Tiffany Stratton and Damage Control tonight. An 8-woman match that was made apparently at a press scrum or some sort of social media event that they put up a little bit before our show went on the air.
Kickoff event, I believe, is what they are now referred to.
Oh, I didn't know it was a proper event.
Well, they did the one for WrestleMania, if you remember, and it looks like this is now the MO. They have stolen this idea from, their parent company, UFC, the biggest pro wrestling company on the planet. This is one of the things, along with there's been some production changes you could tell from the camera angles and the way that interviews are shot. And, you know, this seems to be another one of those changes that they're doing these kickoff events before the big event happens.
I don't think I talked about it on here, but did you see any of the pre-WrestleMania video packages that they did, specifically the one about the Kansas City Chiefs celebration and parade where the shooting happened?
I don't recall.
If you get a chance, or I don't know if they have it ISO'd on the WWE Network or Peacock or YouTube or one of their social media channels, watch it. And it's a good little human interest story, but the revelatory thing for me was because of Lee Fitting, it really did feel like a 30 for 30 ESPN, a outside the lines segment. It was that well done, and it's amazing that you can see, and not that WWE ever had bad production, it just got stale, but when you see network level and high level stuff, I mean, you could tell the same story, somebody else could have told it, it wouldn't be as good, it wouldn't feel like it did. And for anybody out there that didn't see it, I would suggest checking it out, because I thought it was excellent work that they did there. Also tonight, Authors of Pain against New Catch Republic, something that was sparked up during NXT. Tag team title match, A-Town Down Under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory against the Street Profits. And then Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles will go face-to-face, leading into their match on Saturday. And a very interesting RKO show with Paul Heyman as the guest, Tom.
Yeah, Paul Heyman, always a great interview. I'm sure we're going to get some nuggets of some sort when it pertains to the future of Roman Reigns, the future of the Bloodline, the future of Solo Sikoa and the MFT, Tama Tonga. But I would imagine that most of the action is going to be reserved for tomorrow night, and we may get kind of a return to form that we've seen over the last few WWE shows where there's very little wrestling going on, you know. And Mike, if I could I go back? Oh. Well, perfect timing. Go ahead, my friend.
We'll go back after we go forward with these commercials that just jumped up on us when we thought we had a solid 40 seconds to go. But we don't. So let's get to these commercials, get back from break, and listen to Filthy Tom on Wrestling Observer Live.
Miss me, I dodge both.
Leg drop.
Sorry, but you don't have your show yet.
That's it. Opinion. Damn, you gotta stop landing on your head like that.
Let's go, Treehouse.
So your name's Turtle.
Turtle.
Broke for sure.
Figure four? A figure four? You can know the figure four? Sleeper. Where Fury.
He likes it. Use the ball.
You look bad on that one.
Drop it back.
On that. What an evil.
Blame on the ref.
Rick dances out of the hole.
That's it. Super kick. Uh-oh. Oh, he gets crotched.
Harry Fraud bringing us back in. Filthy Tom Lawlor, Mike Sempervive here with you. Filthy, you were unceremoniously cut off as we went to break there. What did you have to say, sir?
Oh, we were actually discussing during the break as well the myriad of production changes that we've seen throughout WWE. That was the point I was trying to get back to that you had mentioned. I just today, in 30 minutes, watched the entire WWE Speed tournament, which was on X over the past month or so. I don't want to give away too much because the plan is to review it on the award-winning podcast Filthy Four Daily with Bryan Alvarez on Monday.
Will you be doing that on Speed?
Perhaps on X as well. But the plan is to review it there. However, one of the things I noticed was that after the matches, and this is a contrast from what we'd see previously, after the matches, they would follow the competitors. You know, Johnny Gargano was slapping hands with some of the fans, cutting a promo. And it's just little changes like this that you would see at a UFC event, at a XFL event even sometimes, that the WWE has adopted. And you know, I think they're all very positive.
I like treating things like a sport. I like having the announcers treating things as much as you can like a sport, and that even includes Pat McAfee. We have wacky announcers, and every Boss Rutan was the most charismatic guy possibly to ever do color commentary. Half the time, you may not understand what he's talking about, but he was just so great that if you give him a couple listens, he's fantastic. And I like Pat McAfee a lot, too. I know a lot of people don't, but you know, when you don't take advantage of those people, when you're not pushing around backstage announcers, you know, that's one of the great parts about Vince being gone. Imagine him screaming. Jackie Redmond's a professional, has been doing the NHL for a long time, would not need WWE, does not need that old man screaming in her ear. And without that happening, look how good those backstage segments have gone. How nice would it have been if that wasn't always happening, you know, have Corey Graves bickering with Renee Paquette over stuff because Vince wanted to have a little bit of combat. It's like, no, this is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But that era, thankfully, is over with now. The era we're definitely in is traveling to other countries for big shows. That's what May is all about. King and Queen of the Ring will be taking place on May 25th. It is believed that those brackets will be revealed tomorrow during WWE Backlash France, which has been the most meagerly hyped pay-per-view / PLE maybe ever. I mean, with everything WWE's had going on, I mean, really, it has not been hyped up at all. This feels like, and it's not an insult, but it feels like the MSG show on the MSG network, or when Capitol Center shows used to appear on the USA Network. It feels like a house show. This is your thank you for supporting and subscribing to Peacock. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like a bonus house show, because with the exception of one match, I don't see any titles changing hands. I don't see any surprises happening. But with that said, I think these matches, because there's not a lot of them, are going to get time, and I think the matches themselves could be, with the exception of one, which ironically is the same one as where I think there could be a title change. All of these matches, I think, should be good. Am I hyping up the thought of Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles too much?
No, I think you're right. On paper, I expect this show to deliver. I expect to see a title change in the women's tag titles match. I expect to see a fantastic contest in the main event between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. But you're very much correct, Mike. This is like Peacock in your house.
Yeah. Yes, it is. You're getting a little bonus episode before you watch the Derby on Saturday, before you watch Jaime and Canelo go at it, if you're crazy enough to do that. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do that or not, Tom. Should I order that fight? Should I bet on that fight?
There's also a Pantoja versus Ursig.
What's that on?
UFC 301.
301?
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't even
right.
know they were having one.
Yep, tomorrow. Also, myself versus TJP at Relentless Pro Wrestling up in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Once
a
the
loaded
show's
weekend.
over with, folks, check my Twitter. I'll have that video up there with all the information of where Tom Lawlor might be coming to your area, as well as a nice highlight package of him punching people in the face. It's always a wonderful thing. Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles may punch each other in the face. I think the match is going to be really good. But Cody Rhodes, I mean, is there any chance he gets a loss here? I mean, like, would Roman have to, like, come back from the French Riviera on vacation to attack him? Like, there's no way Cody Rhodes loses. Or, for that matter, Damian Priest, right?
There is, I would be baffled, gobsmacked. I would dare to say bedridden if Cody Rhodes loses his title to AJ Styles. I just could not fathom it. Who's Damian Priest even facing?
Jey Uso. And to
that's
me,
right.
it feels like this would be step one in the feud. You know, there's going to be more to come. Like, you
Yeah.
have a disputed finish because, again, why would you beat Damian Priest? You're just starting to show cracks in Judgment Day. You know, to me, it's kind of crazy to do that, at least at this point.
Well, plus it seems as if they're setting up at some point maybe Logan Paul and Jey Uso. Is that the plan?
It's possible. It would make a lot of sense.
Logan
to do,
Paul
actually.
and Patrick Mahomes versus Jey Uso and Braun Strowman.
Not a shot. Patrick Mahomes will be in
Or Patrick Mahomes,
Patrick Mahomes,
as some would call him.
So there's you get a Bay Area accent, I guess, with that one. I don't know, but Dominic Mysterio. Speaking of that man with the accent, the Mahomes himself, he is reporting in the newsletter this week that Dominic Mysterio will miss 6 to 8 weeks as he rehabs from not having Tommy John surgery and just trying to work through his elbow issues with physical therapy. So that's the newest update on that. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. I mean, there's no reason to beat Solo and Tonga right now. If you wanted to do a double DQ or some wild nonsense, I would save a non-finish like that. To me, just have Solo and Tama get the victory in some sort of nefarious way, because if you're going to continue on with Owens and Orton, I mean, there's more madness to be had, and anytime there's a bloodline storyline, it seems like there's some length to it. So, I mean, again, this is another one. Is there any shot that Owens and Orton win? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I
Unless
agree with
it's Solo
you.
and Tonga, like, getting DQ'd for kicking too much ass or something.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I would imagine the bloodline walks out victorious. The only downside is that Kevin Owens, man, this guy seemingly just loses every single big match.
Yeah.
You would have to imagine they would beat him and not Randy Orton. I could be surprised by that. But it almost seems like we're going to get Orton and Owens as a sort of I don't want to say long-term team, but semi-permanent team here
I
on the
kinda like
babyface
that.
side of SmackDown. I mean, I'm fine with it. You know, it saves them both. Randy Orton, obviously older. Kevin Owens, just, it doesn't matter. He's going to go out there and take crazy, insane bumps regardless. So maybe this will cut down on those a little bit. Probably not, actually. Yeah, but I like these two as like a butt-kicking duo on the babyface side. They don't need to always be, like, they haven't been best of friends, and they don't need to be. They're both professionals.
That's what makes it great, because their personalities are the way they are, and fans accept what they are, so they're perfect. They're perfect to just be brutal against. I love them brushing up against each other.
It kind of like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Not to that level where they're battering each other back and forth, but when Sheamus and Drew McIntyre were teaming up, I just loved it. You know, you rarely see two big bruisers, not since the days of the formidable duo of Kane and Big Show have we seen such a team as powerful as this.
Brody and Hanson. Look, what I'm looking forward to is a Randy Orton Tama Tonga match where they go like 12 or 13 minutes. Neither guy does anything, and I still think that it's awesome. Bryan still thinks that it's awesome. Pro wrestlers in the business and from the past say it's awesome, and all of you out there absolutely hate it.
Big fan of Tama Tonga. Hopefully he gets his shine here, and I think he will. I expect chaos, actually, in that match.
The Mafantanga. That's everybody's wondering, what does the MFT mean? That's what it means, I'm telling you.
And while I don't want to speak about chaos, Mike, because they were not involved in either match that I watched, but there was a New Japan show last night.
There was.
The Wanted Man, Nick Nemeth, defended his title against Hiroshi Tanahashi, won after 2 danger zones. He was then attacked by David Finlay. They got into a brawl, and Nick Nemeth called out David Finlay for a match tonight where he will defend his IWGP International title, something, one of the belts.
So stupid.
Against him. So I would expect a title change there tonight. We had Jeff Cobb getting his first title win in over 5 years, defeating Zack Sabre Jr. for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television title. You can watch that for free all over the internet, as you can all of the New Japan World TV title matches, and both were good action tonight. There's a New Japan show.
By the way, about damn time with Cobb.
Yeah, about damn time. I mean, the guy's fantastic, but there's a log jam with fantastic wrestlers in a lot of these promotions,
so
unfortunately.
You might want to call it constipation when it comes to the booker, when it comes to some of this stuff. But hopefully that doesn't happen tomorrow, because Gabe Kidd, it's time.
Gabe Kidd will lose to Shingo Takagi later tonight, I believe. And then in that show will be headlined by Jon Moxley defending the title against a man that I am undefeated against in multiple contests. That is the House of Torture's Ren Narita.
You think we're going to see a bunch of House of Torture madness? Do you think we'll see that madness offset? Because there's no collision this weekend, right? You know, possibly, maybe, could we?
Well, I definitely think we're going to have old Shooter making the save for Jon Moxley.
I'm not talking about Utes here, because I know he's still on the shelf, but could Claudio, could Bryan Danielson, could they show up? Is it possible they could show up and Bryan could slap around Evil? I'd like to see that.
Well, El Desperado has also been affiliated with Jon Moxley recently over there. They bled blood, perhaps took a blood oath together in Korakuen Hall last year. So maybe he's going to step up to the plate and defend the honorable Mox. We'll see.
Yep, IWGP Tag Team title as well, too. I'm going to need your team with Fred Rosser to start growing some legs, building those calves, getting them going, because I don't want to see Chase Owens and Kenta in the title mix anymore. Oh, by the way, we did forget about 2 matches taking place at Backlash. We'll talk about those when we get back from break. Wrestling Observer Live.
No flying tonight.
a jobber. What a jobber.
Filthy Tom Lawlor here with you to put a bow on this thing. Tom, we did forget to talk about the women's triple threat title match. Bayley, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton. I mean, is Nia Jax getting involved? Tiffany Stratton is going to be a champion on that roster probably sooner rather than later, but again, just to have her transition it from Bayley already just seems too early to me.
Yeah, plus it already seems as if they're setting up Nia Jax as the challenger for Bayley to overcome and topple here. So, yeah, maybe Nia Jax gets involved. There's some chicanery. Naomi gets beat. That would be my guess.
Julia Hart. All the best goes out to her. She has undergone her shoulder surgery, posted a photo to her IG on Thursday revealing that she has gotten surgery done. Hart was injured in a match on April 10th against Layla Hirsch, which is why her TBS title loss against Willow Nightingale at Dynasty was kept short. She'll be out till at least the end of summer, possibly early fall, before she makes her return. But Filthy, as you mentioned, going to be going slapping around TJP, which is always something I love to see. I love seeing TJ Perkins get punched in the face, so please do that several times. And where else will you be going in your travels as a professional grappler?
Next weekend, Saturday, May 11th, the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California, New Japan Pro Wrestling, where I myself, in an official grudge match, will team with Fred Rosser. I will not call us No Filthy Days Off. I would prefer, how about this, Mike? Yes. Strong Medicine or
Strong medicine?
dirty work. Either way, we're going to put in the work at Resurgence and take out the West Coast Wrecking Crew, just like we put in the work for the last 59 minutes of this show. Take us home, baby.
You're damn right, Filthy Tom. I want to thank you all out there for joining us today. As I said before, be careful this weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Be careful, folks, especially all y'all truckers out there. Love you guys. You make podcasting and radio great. You know who else makes podcasting and radio great? Producer Jared. He makes it great. For all you who watch on video at f4wonline.com, on the Twitch, on the YouTube, and who makes us sound great? Who? Producer Daniel, that's who. Thought Filthy was going to jump in there, give some props to Daniel, but he didn't. And that's all right, because we do this show every day, and we shall talk to you again after a while.